Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. We have some news as usual, so let's get straight to it. First of all, we'll start things off with some Beasts of the Mesozoic news as we have a little bit from them. The very first thing that I want to show you guys is actually our first real glimpse into the Beasts of the Cenozoic, as we've got a look here at the Smilodon. And in typical Beasts of the Mesozoic fashion, it looks excellent. Really nice sculpt overall. I really love the fur detail. Like, it looks really good on the model. I'm going to be really excited to actually see the prototype of this to see how good the fur detail stands out on the model itself. And we can also kind of see an idea here as far as what the articulation is going to look like for the model. Definitely very promising, as I expected. Again, coming from the Beasts of the Mesozoic, I would expect no less. We also have this image here. If you've been paying attention to the Raptor series, quite a few of the Raptors actually have been discontinued, and I didn't even know this until not long ago. I actually just found out that a few of them were discontinued, and now are a little bit hard to find. However, David has announced that he's going to be, of course, re-releasing these species, a little bit more updated versions of these species, and with new paint schemes. And you can basically see the inspiration for each of the different Raptors here as far as what the color schemes are going to look like once they are released again. So a little glimpse into the future here as far as the Raptor series, and it's really exciting to know again that we are going to be getting more of those Raptors, because I'm certain plenty of people had missed out on those the first time around and would love to grab them the second time, and it's going to be really cool to see them with some new paint schemes. We also have a look at the Beast of the Mesozoic Stegosaurus head sculpt here as David is working on it. This as well looks incredible, and I can't even begin to tell you guys how excited I am for the upcoming Beasts of the Mesozoic figures to get released, because there's so many really cool species David has planned. It's not like normal where we usually have like just one type of species. Like we have the Raptor series, the Ceratopsian series, and then the Tyrannosaur series. The upcoming figures seem to be just a scattered array of awesomeness, because there are just lots and lots of different species that will be coming for the Beasts of the Mesozoic line, and the Stegosaurus is definitely one that's at the top of my list as far as ones I'm excited about. And then the final thing as far as the Beasts of the Mesozoic line goes, again, we did have quite a bit of it here, is the second dragon that is planned for the Cyberzoic line. We have the Lizard Dragon. This was sculpted by Aaron Doyle, and will actually be released in two different color schemes. And it really does look quite cool. Again, I think the initial dragon that we had seen, the Arctic dragon, is probably my favorite dragon still, but this one does look really cool, definitely unique and different, and something that I'll be looking forward to seeing again as far as the prototype goes. And you can see all the really cool images David has shared of this, as well as, again, the impressive amount of parts that would have to go into the model when it is created. So lots of really cool stuff coming from the Beasts of the Mesozoic as always. And then as far as Bullyland goes, a few different people had sent me this image letting me know that there is a brand new Bullyland Tyrannosaurus Rex coming out, and I really don't know what to say about this one. It's very interesting looking, that's for sure. I feel like it's stylized in a way where I can look at it and say, yeah, that's definitely Bullyland, because their figures always have a unique and particular style to them. But even for Bullyland, it looks a little out of place, I think, at the same time. So it's a little hard to really put into words how I feel about this one, but I did want to let you guys know that, again, this figure is coming this year, I believe, for 2023 from Bullyland. And then as far as Syrett Tech goes, we have a little sneak peek of the packaging for the Ultimasaurus he will be releasing very soon. You can see what the box art looks like, and it is phenomenal. Like, it doesn't get any better when it comes to a box that's basically going to represent the overall appearance and the way that Jurassic Park figures were kind of presented to us when the Ultimasaurus would have been released. I feel like they have completely nailed it. Like, this is as picture perfect as it gets, and it just looks beautiful overall. And we have seen the figure before, so now all that's left is to actually see the figure in the packaging, which I cannot wait for. And then we recently had taken a look at a Tyrannosaurus here on a news video from Declay Studio. Well, they actually have another model out, and it is a Columbian Mammoth, and man, is this beautiful. Look at the sculpt, and the paint job, honestly, on this is so realistic. This is easily one of the best mammoth figures that I have ever seen. This is actually being sold in 1/20th scale. It comes in 11 parts. It is made of resin and is actually limited to 20 pieces. You can buy the unpainted kit for $240 US plus shipping, or the fully painted version for $340 plus shipping. The unpainted kit will take about 15 days to complete after payment is received, and the painted kit will take about 30 days after payment is received to complete. If you are interested in picking up this incredible mammoth, I will include a link in the description to Declay Studio on Instagram, and if you do not have social media, you of course can contact me and I will contact them for you. And then when it comes to the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World line, first of all, I want to thank Collect Jurassic for this information, but they recently unveiled this very, very cool Jurassic Park Gates diecast vehicle set, and this is an absolute must-have. Like, I cannot even begin to stress how much I want to get my hands on this. It looks so cool. Again, we've had Jurassic Park gates and stuff in the past, but this honestly looks like one of the coolest versions of the Jurassic Park gates that we've had, so this is absolutely something I'm going to be keeping my eye out for. And then when it comes to Mattel and the Jurassic World line, we actually have quite a few different species that have been unveiled to us. Now, I don't know how many people have heard about these, but there is confirmation on a website that Dino Mac found. He's created some insanely cool graphics for me to show these off to you guys. So I want to give a huge shout out and a thank you to Dino Mac, not only for, again, giving me this information, but creating these incredible graphics for me to include in this video, as they are all so good. But the very first one that we have here, we can see actually has an image of it. It is the Epic Attack Dilophosaurus. We actually will have another image here at the end of the video to show this one off a little bit, but this definitely is an interesting one. It's a little bit chunky and not my favorite Dilophosaurus that Mattel has released, that's for sure, but it is another Dilophosaurus regardless. And speaking of Dilophosaurus, we will also have a Strike Attack version of the Dilophosaurus coming fairly soon from Mattel. On top of that, when it comes to the gigantic trackers, we'll have a Bistahievisor, and how cool is that? That is definitely a very welcome species, if you ask me. Something that, at this point, I'm not surprised Mattel is making, because they've been covering so many obscure species, but definitely one that I can't wait to see. We also will have in the Wild Roars assortment an Orcoraptor, and that as well is going to be a really interesting one to, again, see how Mattel does sculpt and paint wise on, because it's a very interesting species. On top of that, when it comes to Wild Roars, we will have a Nigersaurus. Now, that one could be pretty fun. Mattel just really needs to start increasing the length of the sauropod's tails, but that's going to be a pretty cool one to see. We also have in the Wild Roar assortment a Regaloceratops coming, which should be pretty cool. On top of that, a Wild Roar's Irritator, so we'll have our second Irritator in the Mattel line. And on top of that, we will have a Hunt and Chomp Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now, we knew it was going to be a matter of time before we got another T-Rex from Mattel, so we now know that that one is coming. But we will also have a Camouflage in Battle Indominus Rex, so we'll actually have a new version of the Indominus coming, which is pretty cool. On top of that, we have a Habitat Defender Triceratops. Now, for this one, I'm really hoping that we get a newly sculpted Triceratops, and it's not the same one that we've had so many times, and I'm also kind of hoping that it's going to be a bit of a larger size compared to the older ones. I guess time will tell, but definitely excited for that. On top of that, we'll have a Strike Attack, a Troceraptor. No idea what that one's going to look like color scheme-wise. And then another figure that was recently unveiled is this one. We have the Strike Attack Prestasuchus. And honestly, when I had found out they were making a Prestasuchus, when Dino Mac had originally sent me the species that were going to be created, I was beyond hyped for this. But now actually seeing this, not so much. I'm not a big fan of the Prestasuchus. I have heard some pretty strong mixed reactions of a lot of people actually really liking it, and then there are a lot of people that absolutely despise it. I'm in the middle, kind of leaning toward despising it, because I just think the head sculpt looks so awful on it. It looks like they basically took a V-Rex head sculpt and then just threw it on a Prestasuchus. I had higher hopes after their Postasuchus. I thought that this one would definitely look better. Again, I can never really tell how much I'll like or dislike it until I see it in person, and maybe it's just the angle of the image, but this one is a bit of a letdown for me. But we also actually have some upcoming Hammond Collection figures. Now, I know many people love the Hammond Collection, so this is exciting to let you guys know which species have been pretty much, I'd say, confirmed at this point to be coming from the Hammond Collection. The very first one is a Metriacanthosaurus. Now, that's a pretty cool species to choose. They seem to really like that dinosaur when it comes to like random offerings of it like that. totally random version that was like showing up at certain Walmarts and was really hard to find a ways back. I think it was like Aurora Attack or something like that version of the Metriacanthosaurus. But I'll be really excited to actually see this version for the Hammond Collection, and hopefully they give it some good paint apps. On top of that, one we have heard quite a bit about lately is the Brachiosaurus, and yes, we will definitely be getting a Hammond Collection Brachiosaurus as well, which I cannot wait to see. On top of that, we'll also be getting a Hammond Collection Irritator. Now, it seems as though we're kind of straying off from the Jurassic Park franchise when it comes to the Hammond Collection, and even the Jurassic World franchise, because we're getting species that we haven't even seen in films, but I'm okay with it. You know, there's so many cool species Mattel has created that I would love to see enter the Hammond Collection. So definitely psyched about that. On top of that, we will have a Stegosaurus. So we will definitely be getting a Stegosaurus for the Hammond Collection. Unfortunately, we are not sure if it's an adult or a baby yet, so we'll have to, I guess, wait and see when Mattel officially unveils it. On top of that, we will be getting a John Hammond, and that one was pretty much a given. We knew we'd be getting that at some point, and a Dennis Nedry. Again, another one that we definitely saw coming a mile away. We will also be getting a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now, we already do have a Rex, so I'm thinking that this one's probably going to be the juvenile Rex. It just makes sense that it would be the young Rex and not an adult, since we already had the adult, even though I would love to see a male version of the T-Rex from the Hammond Collection. You know, fingers crossed we get that at some point, but I'm thinking this is going to be the baby. And the one that I'm most excited about, and I feel like most of you are going to be most excited about, we are getting a Corythosaurus for the Hammond Collection. That is exceptionally awesome news, because we've been pretty much aching for Mattel to make a Corythosaurus since the line began, and it's that one species that was always overlooked, but it appears as though we are now going to be getting one for the Hammond Collection. So again, big props to Dino Mike Mac for acquiring all of that information, as well as making those images for me. Super, super cool of him. And then the final stuff that we have here is just basically an image of the Prestosuchus here in package, which is where the image came from for the graphic that Dino Mike Mac made. This image began, making its rounds yesterday online and giving us the look at what that figure is going to look like. But we also have alternate images here for the upcoming Dilophosaurus, kind of furthering the evidence that it's not so great, and the weird chunky look for it. On top of that, the very lackluster paint job for the Dilophosaurus. But still some fun stuff coming from Mattel, and some not so fun stuff like the Dilophosaurus. So lots to look forward to, that's for sure. So in the comments section, let me know what you guys think of all of this, and also like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.